Hey, all our viewers, welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you're out holiday shopping today and you're missing this, sorry we missed you. I hope you got some great deals. It is the end of Cyber Week. It has been a crazy week for lots of people, and we had a lot of things going on here, so I didn't have a video to upload for you. I was doing really good getting ahead of schedule on everything until it came time to butcher that bull. And I will tell you what, I worked on him forever. I literally would cut meat for 4 to 8 hours a day and get it wrapped up and in the freezer. Getting caught up on some garbage burning. Jack's been out to feed the cows. He has been helping me tremendously this week, and for good reason. Because I was busy working in the house, I needed somebody to come out mid-afternoon so that it wouldn't slow me down to give the cows their hay. Well, he tends to give them the grain and give them half of their hay. So I'm kind of checking on things right now, kind of doing some fill-in chores at the same time, and hobbling around. So if I'm not moving as fast, and you notice it, that pretty thumbnail is my broken foot. I broke 3 of my toes walking through my own mess. I had nothing to do so much with the kids stuff, but I'll tell ya, with it being Cyber Week and making out Christmas lists, it's making me kind of revamp and think over, hey, what do we need? What do we have? There's so much stuff in this house. We should be able to walk through it without breaking our foot. So that's a clue, we own too much stuff. Now, it kind of was my own fault. No, it was totally my own fault. I had just kicked off my boots and came in the house after feeding the animals, and I wanted to open up the back curtains. Because I was processing meat on the meat saw, I moved my old apple cider press, which is made out of super heavy oak from like 100 years ago. And wouldn't you know it, your memory, your brain, all that muscle memory of everything you do every day, instinctively told me, step here. Mid-stride, walked right into it. I still had my socks on, so I let out a great big swear word. I didn't even cry. I mean, that's the thing. At least if you're going to break something, it's the smallest part on your body if you damage your foot, but it really affects trying to do your chores. So I got back on with it, and I was processing meat, which was the reason for opening the curtains. The garage doesn't have great lighting, and I've been working on that. I'd like to rewire the whole thing and have more lights. We had 2 fluorescent shop lights hanging there before we did the garage door last winter, and now I've just got 2 100-watt bulbs hanging in that space, and it's just not enough light. So got the cow all finished, butchered in the freezer yesterday. Between hanging time, we let them hang about 10 to 12 days. 14 days was too much. When by the time I got to finishing it, it was starting to dry out a bit. So I had to essentially go back in and like skin the outer meat because it was turning into like a jerky, and separate that muscle tissue from that. And oh my gosh, the meat saw gives me fits. I'd have to prime it with the pulley system all the time and basically get it going before I'd plug it in, otherwise it would not go. And they say these 3/4 horsepowers on these meat saws are supposed to be adequate. We've done 2 cows on it, and not even 2 full cows. I basically ended up deboning the entire cow. Let me show you this pile of bones. It's terrible. So all this is everything that is waste. It's all the bones. I don't save a lot of soup bones, but see, like areas here, it got dry. There was no point to cut through all that at the end. I just was getting frustrated. the ribs. This guy is totally grass fed, so there just wasn't a lot of meat on the ribs, and his leg muscles were so heavy and full. We have a lot of meat without messing with those ribs, so I prefer pork spare ribs. They're delicious. Speaking of which, we're gonna go up and go check on the piggies. Oh, I forgot. I save all the kids' scraps from their plates and stick them on the side of the sink. And then every day, or sometimes every other day, I save them in a coffee can at the end of the day. I'll show you what I did while I'm here. I can get this light on. So this is the entrance that I go through, and it's kind of an obstacle course right now because I'm finishing cleaning this all up. Christmas is starting, and I came in. We're storing the hose in the house for the winter, and I walked through here, and normally this is right there. It was out past the center line. Mid-stride, I just walked right into it, going over to that back door. It's a terrible thing to have happen, but I'm getting around a lot better today. It's been a few days now and the swelling has gone down. But what I originally thought when it first happened, I really felt it in my last 3 toes. They call it your 3rd, 4th, 5th toe, your 5th toe being your pinky. Well, I had to change my clothes because I had blood and meat on me from doing the meat processing. And I slipped my sock off and my pinky toe was totally sideways. That is not good. So I knew right away it was actually broken, and that wasn't going to work. Oh. Lost you there for a minute. So we got it cleaned up, wrapped it up. I actually didn't break the skin open, which really surprised me. But called the doctor, and they told me to do what's called sister or buddy taping until I could get in. Well, our main vehicle has been the Dodge, and he didn't have a way to get it here to get me to the doctor. Not a lot of fun. So, swelling started going down, got it looked at. Same thing, buddy tape it, 6 weeks, you know, maybe it'll be better. So we changed the dressing on it yesterday, and it's not as sideways as it was, but it feels weird walking on it. They actually said I could put a walking boot on it, which doesn't work too well on the farm. The kids can help to some degree, but see what we got here? This little happy bowl. Got some leftover bread and some green beans and some grapes. Probably some leftover cocoa. Just save it all. A nice little treat for them. They like it. So I'm doing well. But as my dad says, when the going get tough, the tough get going. You're not getting anything done by sitting down and crying about it or stewing about it or worrying about it. I had a friend that she broke her foot. Same kind of thing. She just was walking past something and kicked it. And several surgeries and pins and problems later, she had to keep going back. And I'm just not a fan of injury or going to the doctor and getting fixed up. So I'm all fixed up and I'm on the mend. The main thing is, I think it's just important to have a can-do attitude, and it gets you where you need to be. I'm very sloppily feeding these guys with one hand. Because the kids have been helping, my scoop disappears. That's to be expected. But oh, the joys of trying to do chores. It's supposed to get a temperature drop again here. We've been so lucky. It actually has dried up a little bit. My cows have not, well, the bulls and the steers haven't been wanting to come up the pasture to where their water is. And, you know, we don't have water down there. I have to have the hose reel and pull down that hose. It's about 150 feet of hose. Oh, I almost lost that. But I had to set them up with another watering tank way downhill because the uphill part just has had so much water runoff on it. And that early snow that we got's all melted. We just have been having freeze-thaw cycles. I had a customer stop by to pick up some maple syrup just the other day. And he mentioned that this is maple syrup weather. And I remembered that last year in December, areas of New York, upstate, were tapping their trees in December. And it was a good thing they did because the spring was so unreliable with the freeze thaws and so wet that a lot of people didn't get as much maple syrup as they had intended. Now, of course, for me, knowing this, I kind of semi-panicked in my homesteading mommy preparedness, and we tapped a lot of extra trees last year because there were areas that I wanted to put on drop lines. So we ended up adding instead of drop lines. I know the lighting's terrible here. I'm just getting rid of my bowl. Basically, I ended up not using those drop lines, so we've been selling the excess of those drop lines just so that they're not sitting. I can't stand to have much clutter around, and they get a little bit of a discount by buying them in bulk, so that savings does get carried along. So if you need maple syrup drop lines, then you can go on our Etsy store. There's a link if you go to the My Channel page or down in the description down below. And as long as you're down there by that description, don't forget to hit the like button for us too. It really helps to promote our channel and the video in YouTube system, so maybe more people can see our face. We're a small farm. You know, we're not doing thousands of acres of grain and whatever. And I know in Michigan there's a few other farming channels and a few other like lady farmers kind of going on, and their stats are impressive. I just can't believe it. And I know our channel kind of goes here and there between farming and do-it-yourself stuff. And surprisingly, the do-it-yourself videos blow up. I do so much better on those videos than I do on the farming videos. And that's just how the channel started. It did not start as a farming channel. So anyways, while you're down there, hit the thumbs up button after the video. Click on the link to go to the Etsy store. If you need maple syrup or honey, as it says in the description, visit the Etsy store. I actually put a sale on for the holidays for everybody. We don't need to have surplus from this year carrying over to next year when it does get to be time to tap the trees. So it is coupon code syrup20 at the checkout, and you can get some savings if you need to order some maple syrup for gifts and gift baskets for your family. And if you also need to order honey, that's there. We have honey. And I added a couple new products while I was down on the mend. We are doing honey straws or honey sticks, and decided while we were there, well, why not add syrup sticks too. It's about a tablespoon of syrup or honey in a straw, and it's heat sealed so that you can carry them in your pocket for a little pickup if you're needing a little boost. It's nice to have that right on hand. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's gunshots going in the neighborhood, and I just spotted orange in somebody's backyard. Way too close to a house. Very odd. They're just target practicing. So they're a really nice little size that you can put right in your like desk drawer if you have an away from home job and want to have your own maple syrup or honey and not have your coworker swipe it. You can just put a few of those straws in your drawer and add it. It's super good in your coffee. I actually prefer the maple syrup in my coffee over the honey. The honey, I really like in my baked goods. I like the syrup in my baked goods too. I do notice if you do bake with honey, it recommends in any honey recipe book to actually reduce the amount of honey, and you might need to replace some liquid one way or another in your recipe to compensate for that. I noticed that I really have to watch the timer on my homemade banana bread if I use the honey and the maple syrup, but I have to watch it way closer with the honey than with the maple syrup. But it's a great substitute. The kids even have maple syrup in their smoothies. We make homemade smoothies at home, and I buy plain yogurt. No reason to have that high fructose corn syrup in there. When Jack was young, he would eat 3 or 4 of these Dan and Yoplait yogurts a day. And at the time they were, 35, 50 cents a piece. The price has gone up over the years. And I think now they're upwards of like 65 cents a piece. And we had basically gotten to the point with the amount of children that we have that I was needing an extra refrigerator for milk, yogurt, and eggs. That's just insane. We already pay our electric company an insane amount of money, which I'm kind of working on a video about the electric company right now. Interesting things about tree trimming and easement service that come along, but maybe one day we won't be reliant on the electric company. And who knows, these homesteading channels, sometimes they can get a sponsor, pick them up, and there's propane refrigerators that you can have. Well, we don't have propane on the farm, and I don't want another fuel source being, a replacement for what I already have. But boy, if I could get an oil-fired anything, that's the way to go. We had an oil-fired water heater on reserve, and we actually had to end up giving it to my father-in-law because the water heater at their office gave out. So I'm checking on the bees today. It's a little warmer than it has been. They have winter die-off every season, and this is a good time to kind of check on them. So let's see what's going on here. Now, some of the winter die-off is just the natural, succession of the hive. They actually kick out as many drones as they can, and they just eat. So they need a lot of bees to keep the hive warm, but all this dark here, this is some corrugated sheet metal. There's a good amount of dead bees here that were not here even just a week ago. So it must be they had a warm enough day to do some cleansing flights. And if it's too warm, well, then they can't fly and get back. They end up freezing and dying. So I haven't put an entrance reducer on these 5 beehives yet. I was really concerned about this third one. I was out here twice and there were scratchings at the bottom. Now there's a few bees out today. It's maybe close to 40, one way or another of that. But this all packed down here, and there was some skunk poop. So I actually had to look it up to find out because I knew it wasn't raccoon. And they'll stick their paw right in there and grab a handful of bees and scratch at anything they can get. Now, it seems to be most of the flights coming from that hive right there. So that's good because that was a split. And I'm always watching the splits to see how they're doing. The other hives don't really seem to have much activity going on. You don't expect it on a day like today anyway. But I do need to get some hive reducers out here. And I've been cleaning the dead bees off of the front. Just, scraping it off with my pocket knife. And you gotta be careful doing that because there's guard bees in there. Now this one's got a bit more of a slant on it than I'd like. I'm gonna bring it over here when I do that. But these top boxes, I need to remove those. That whole processing the cow kind of threw me off on my schedule. I got a snow fence to put up here. I know it's getting windy. I'm sorry about that. Downhill of it. But I'm going to put up a snow fence basically from about there over there, and I think I'm going to do it in 2 different shots here so that these 4 are in one snow fence. It keeps the snow from building up all around it and making it cold. And taking this 3rd box off, basically I gave them the empty frames and feeders in these top boxes, just as the cold was setting in. So cold is a little earlier than it sometimes is each year, and they can stay warmer with 2 stories than with 3 stories, and there's no reason to have that heat loss on that 3rd story. So broken foot or not, things have got to get done. I can, well, maybe I can use the step-in post and a hammer. I hate to have to bring out the heavy hardware with the T-post driver and the big snow fence, but I don't have any of the lightweight plastic snow fence. So, you know, it's one of those things. I've known it's needed done for a while, and I haven't gotten to it yet. If you have any questions, you know, go ahead and feel free to shout them out. Sometimes I see them, sometimes I don't. They only stay up for a second. Sometimes they just go too fast, so I never really know. Big old brush pile. We've been piling it up here, cleaning up the creek, and I was worried, bees and animals in nature, you know, with the fire alarm, bees know, basically overindulge and fill their bellies with as much honey as possible when they smell smoke. So I didn't want them to do it during the beekeeping season. And honestly, even though it was a wet spring, I didn't know what was going on after winter last year. I didn't know that my hives had been wiped out. So it's good to see some activity back there. You know, we're going into winter with more bee stores than we had last year, and it's unlikely that I would lose all the beehives. You expect to lose 1 or 2. It just was a hard winter last year, so hopefully this year, you know, it's been an early winter, but we're hoping it's going to do better than next year. And that's the reason, well, anyways, I'm at the Etsy store and order some honey. It helps pay for my bees. It helps pay for the beekeeping. It's a nice thing to do on a farm, and the bees help pollinate everything, your food supply. It's just amazing, which I haven't got the link set up yet, but I did a Teespring t-shirt. I've been working on trying to design them. It's not easy without the right equipment. You got to have basically software on your computer that can cost hundreds of dollars for designing tees. And I know merch or merchandise and the Teespring links on YouTube channels are huge these days. So I did get around to making a beekeeping t-shirt. Go ahead and look for that. If I'll dig up a link here and add it to the description, you know, in the next day or 2. But it's under Mommy Milestones on the Teespring account, and I don't know, they're about $22 for a t-shirt. So it basically, anything that I make for a profit, you know, it's like $7, $8, $9, $10 a shirt. I don't know. I tried to pick the medium quality shirts to keep the cost down. You can do premium t-shirts, but that increased your cost, and it was better to do it through Teespring than to have printed shirts shipped to me and then ship out to you. So, you know, if someone you know is just friends with nature and friends with bees or interested in beekeeping, maybe they'd like a beekeeping t-shirt for Christmas. So go on our Etsy store and you can find a few Christmas gifts there. Nice little bonus for a babysitter or your neighbor or your postman. Our local postman, we don't get mail at the farm, We have a P.O. box, and every now and then he'll stop in and buy maple syrup at the roadside stand that we had set up. Well, this year we haven't done the roadside stand because we just were having too much loss and better success on the Etsy site. So it's a nice thing to get into. The Etsy representatives and powers that are, they're very generous. It's 20 cents a listing to list something for sale, and you can renew it as you want or set it up on auto renew, so I like that. And it's just been a good way for us to deal with that, because then it's you know, a sale any hour a day. You don't have to worry about somebody pulling into the driveway when you're in your pajamas and knocking on your door. We used to sell eggs with a sign out by the road, and as you know, I didn't have the chickens this last year, which was so hard. But yeah, people would just stop in to buy eggs for $2 or $3 a dozen. And I just thought, you know, having other people on your property or the inconvenience of people dropping in for $2 is not worth the hassle. And, you know, when the chickens stop laying, then you've got customers asking where are the eggs. So it was just better to not do it. And I watched some videos recently. I kind of got on a YouTube rabbit hole being laid up and ways on the homestead to make money for your farm. You know, we're not doing homesteading here per se, but the things that I do are considered homesteading. So we have a playlist all on things around like the kitchen and garden, cooking, and you know, different foraging and whatever. Different playlists for the farm, different playlists on different things that the family kind of goes out on. So you can see some fun trips that we've done together. It's getting a little windy out here, so I'm gonna go in. My hands are cold. But oh my gosh, the people talking about how they make a couple dollars here or make a couple dollars there, and I just think of all the liability that you open yourself to have people coming in and kids walking. You know, I had some little girls that wanted to catch some barn cats one day. They were here to buy ducks, and you know, there's nails sticking out in the barn and all this other stuff, and I thought it's not worth having off-farm visitors. So it's gonna be dark here for just a second. Ooh, adjusted this light. This is one of my hopeful winter projects. When we bought the farm, this is my garage, and we kind of use it as our entrance, but it's insulated and one wall is drywalled. And they put this beautiful pink foam on the ceiling, so I'm hoping to one day make a trip and get some drywall. But drywalling a ceiling is no fun, and I don't know what to do about the foam that's up there. It's, you know, sheets of foam that are like 2-inch interlocking, and I don't think I can drywall underneath that or over it to get that done. But you can rent a drywall lift to make the job easier. Everybody doing good? Oh, Becky has some PBS shows that she watches, and she has been drawing the characters from it. She had to go to bed last night, so she couldn't finish her project. Well, I got 9 minutes left on a pumpkin pie. I'm going to start myself a new pot of coffee and have a bowl of soup. I haven't had lunch yet. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yesterday I hadn't had lunch, and all of a sudden it was 6 o'clock because I was on my last day of butchery and working on that cow processing. You just lose track of days, lose track of hours. Most of the time I don't know what day of the week it is because I'm busy doing other things. And you know, when you don't have to get up and go to somebody else for employment, and you're reliant on yourself, it doesn't matter what day it is or what time it is. It's just, it's daylight, we got work to do. I'm ready for a break on all that though. I'm gonna set you up here on my window for a second so I can wash my hands. Don't fall in the sink, okay? That's never a good thing. Phones don't like to get wet. Ooh-wee.
I fear no being. Put that thing.
So for the rest of today, we are working on some Christmas things. We got the Christmas tree out. The snow flocking, we had the video about that last year, held up wonderfully. I was surprised how little actually shook off into the Christmas tree bag. Our Christmas tree came with a big black tote bag. So as we took it out and shaped it and got it mounted, there really wasn't a whole lot on the ground, so it held up well. And I can tell you, a year later, after making that video, I give it a thumbs up. It's good stuff. We've got some, you can use it on live trees too. So I want to put it on some homemade wreaths and boughs that we are working on. Hey guy, you're loud. Everybody want to say hi? We're on a live stream.
Oh, hi. Hi. Hi.
Everybody says hi. Don't mind our messes. It is like this every day coming from doing chores. I see always things on the tables and counters. Oh. George is saying hi too. Where you at? There he is. Yeah, say hi.
Hey.
He's being silly. He can say hi better than that. I'll tell you, all of a sudden, in the last 2 weeks, this guy is talking like crazy. He was doing something with his sister's dollhouse yesterday, and he said house. But he's just got it in his mind that he can talk now, and he's talking crazy. Yes. I think he's teething though. He's been sticking his hand in his mouth. It drives me crazy. Get your hand out of your mouth. Yucky. Yucky. It's never just like a finger. It's the whole hand. It's terrible. Yes. Let's see what you're doing. You want to show everybody your choo-choos? Jack got this train table when he was a little boy, and it is in super condition because it was at his grandma's house. And basically, the kids are here all the time. They don't spend a lot of time at grandma's house, and it was time to get the train table here for this guy. So he's been playing blocks. He's been playing blocks, and he has been working on things. Hey, yo.
Here's another word.
Oh, I'll show you this. Let's turn this off. We don't want to have issues with that.
Do you know who this is?
We got the Christmas tree all up. All of our special ornaments are out. See that? Couldn't stop them. I basically came in from working on the meat, and they were dragging everything out. Trey has been Mr. Christmas, doing things. There's Trey when he was about 2 or 3. And there's Jack. This is my husband when he was very little. We've got little special ornaments like that for everybody. Here's one of Murdoch. This is baby George. And this one's baby Bethany. And Bethany, where'd your sister go? Where's Juliet? Here's one of Juliet when she got married. We don't have hers. It's just nice. I had these made, these 3. Yeah, there's my piggy. For Mom's pigs. I found this last year or a year ago before for Trey. John Deere 720. Gotta have those.
And then this is my train.
Yep.
It's the New York Central Hudson.
So George thinks everything's for him, so we're always putting everything up high. I picked up these little birds, and I think Lowe's or Home Depot a couple years ago, and they just clip on. And surprisingly, hi, I see that they're up. This bird has been pulled on. They just clip on, so that's a nice little thing to have, and they're made of plastic. So we just try to keep George. You see, he's been taking things apart here. Yeah. So we just keep putting them back on and put non-fragile things down on the bottom. And I really got lucky last year. I had picked up this batch of stockings a long, long time ago. And since George was born, I didn't have an extra. I had one for everybody. Way before I ever had a family, I bought these and I just saved them. So we were able to find this last one on eBay and add George's name to it. So there's one here for everybody. My daughter has one also with her name on it. We didn't want to hang hers and put another hole in the wall since she's got a family of her own and she has her own stocking, but maybe we'll fill it up with something and give her a little stocking treat anyway. Hi. Yeah. Yep. So, what have you been doing this week with Cyber Week, Black Friday, post-Thanksgiving, and holiday decorating and shopping? Leave a little comment down below because I always like to know kind of what everybody else is up to. Because here it's farming every single day, all year long, and shopping isn't a priority for us. It's, you know, kind of things like that. So, as I was saying, today we are working on Christmas things. We're working on our letters to Santa. That's something that we're going to do here in just a little bit. I got to eat my lunch and have my cup of coffee to warm up. And letters to Santa are a nice way to start. To have the kids, number one, it's sneaky, but they're working on the writing, and that's a good thing always, isn't it? Yeah. We'll work on our writing. So working on our letters and numbers. They have some catalogs around here. An interesting thing that I got, I do a little bit of shopping on Amazon. Usually it's go to the store and sorry about that. Usually it's go to the store and go get whatever it is that we need. But they sent us this. Just a minute. So it's called Play Together. It's a catalog of Christmas gift ideas, toys, and things for kids. I know. So you can get into some wish list items with that. Our local store in Michigan, like grocery store and supermarket, is Meijer. They have like general, you know, everything that you could get. So it's not just groceries. They've got all your, well, they call them general supplies on the receipt, or general merchandise. That's what they call it. So, you know, home section, they have shoes and clothing and toys and electronics and all that stuff. So you can get a lot there. Actually got a store ad the other day for Menards, and I can't believe, looking through the Christmas list, that the kids kind of told me, and the things that we want to get, or that Santa might get, or that we want to get him for me, or for me to get my husband. Mama! Timer! Hi! So a lot of our presents can come from Menards too. It's just our nature of how we kind of gift. Talking about the chickens outside, I was thinking the other day, I saw a Craigslist ad for some piglets. Christmas piggies would be so great. I was kind of hoping my own pigs would have some babies. The boar and the gilts got together, but I'm not watching them closely enough to figure out if they've gone into heat or not. And I haven't been able to really tell if they're pregnant. There's these old wives' tales about if their like hind end is sticking up or straight out, if they are pregnant or not. And I don't know if it's accurate. I've seen them all together, and you know, especially with an old sow, you can't tell that. Yeah, that pie is still soft. I got a nice pumpkin pie here. Right there. But it's looking a little jiggly still in the middle. You can stick a knife in it, and if it comes out clean, then it's done, but oh. We'll give that just a few more minutes to go. But anyways, I don't think there's going to be Christmas piggies here. And it's really hard to have to trek out in the deep snow for feeding animals. So if I don't have to, yeah, I'm not going to want to. Anything you want to say to anybody? What you want for Christmas?
Yeah.
So what are the things that are on your Christmas list?
So far, just Nerf vest and something.
These guys are into Nerfs and Legos all the time. Yes. Some things that I'm asking for Christmas is I want a secondary shop vac because ours is really big and it's hard to get from point A to point B. So it'd be nice to have a smaller one. It'd be nice to have a smaller one for taking to the rental houses. And with the Black Friday pricings and Cyber Week pricings, I told him where to go and what to get and said, get me this for Christmas. If he didn't, then he's going to end up paying full price for it. So, you know, they get marked down so cheap. And just like the accessory kit that I got for my old shop vac was close to about $30. You can get a whole complete shop vac, and it was on sale for like a deal of the day sort of thing for $40, and it was normally $80 or $90. So I thought that was pretty good. Sure, tell us what you want for Christmas, Bethy.
I want a new Barbie and a couple of Jingle Bells with it for Christmas. Because I want to put some of that Christmas in my maker's Barbie spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be pretty area. And also what I wanted for Christmas is a new Barbie movie, and I've been hoping for it. And I don't know what it's called, but there's a rabbit, a dragon, but a nice
Peter Rabbit.
No.
A Barbie movie. Well, we will have to look it up while we work on our Christmas list. So,
And also what I want for Christmas is some PJ Masks.
yeah, she likes PJ Masks a lot lately.
Yeah.
So we are going to be going, Bethany was talking before, but it says this is Amazon's ultimate wish list from Amazon. So I think we're going to be doing a lot of either Meijer, Menards, and Amazon shopping because things just show up at your door. Anything that I personally use, I put a link in the description for. So if you look through any of our older videos when you've got, you know, downtime and you're just trying to watch something and you don't know what to watch, pull up those playlists. If there's a tool or an item that I use, I link it. And I link it because I use it and I stand behind it, not just like go buy this junk. When there is an Amazon link, we did sign up for their affiliate program. They will give me a very small percentage for sending you there if you buy something. So you can always keep that in mind. That's just another way to support the channel is by following the links in the descriptions. It helps everybody and it helps everybody's channel. And it's just a way for us to, you know, kind of help fund things because, you know, it all takes time. And, you know, doing these live streams, it's so easy to just hit go live instead of, you know, do all of the editing. I've got a couple videos that I've tried to work on and edit this week, and it's really hard to get them done to my satisfaction because I'm like, oh, this is missing or that's not done yet or whatever. So there's a couple videos that are going to be coming up this week that aren't up to my par, but I can't get outside and do the work on them that, you know, I wanted to do. There's that drainage video that I was working on. We didn't get to finish that and complete it the way we wanted because, you know, we got too much wet, too much mud, and the cold weather came in. Without having something to trench or to dig here on the farm, you know, we're not big on hiring things done or renting equipment. So, you know, I can't get out there and hand dig it. I got 3 strong boys. They're going to be even stronger from being fed good all winter long. And they can go out and dig a trench for me in the spring when we get past the wet season again. So things like that, you know, you just kind of make do video-wise and whatever. So support the channel any way you can. You can support it now by saying goodbye, hitting that thumbs up button, and hitting the subscribe button if you're not already signed up. So if there's a little notification bell, it lets you know if there's a new video. It'll go right to your like cell phone. If you know you're favoriting our videos and things like that, it'll give you that as a suggested video for the next time you come back to YouTube too. So that's it for today, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Happy holidays to all you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.